Well, it's running. You see a 7'1" Goliath come popping up through the door. And then based on your reaction, you're like, "Oh, sorry," and he kind of shakes, and it resumes Ari's form.
Wog's reaction was, "Ah!"
Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. I'm Philip, and I will be running all of the monsters.
I'm Eric.
I'm Colin.
I'm R.A.
And I'm Casey.
What happened last time, guys? It was a fun-filled romp of adventure and flying cutlery.
Bunch of lightheartedness.
Yeah. Fun and games.
We've been officially outed in the city of Stormreach.
Been outed imply that you used the passive voice there, I noticed.
Ari was busy buying a shirt. He had very little say in this decision. So, we saw Donabella Bright Doom, not an ominous name at all, being chased by cutlery around a market and bumping into shopping stalls and bringing more things to life. And Shade tried, at Ari's encouragement, Shade got wrecked by some cutlery.
Yeah. Shade got stabbed.
And then Esri hit an 11-year-old child in the face with a stick.
As you do.
As you do.
What was the best decision I made all episode?
I mean, you're not wrong, but still.
It worked.
Hindsight, agree.
And then in an effort to calm her down, Pog showed her his mark, and she freaked out because we saw that she had a mark.
Spoiler alert, did not calm her down.
I don't know if we need to do a play-by-play of this conversation. Things went bad to worse. Mom showed up. Things got even worse. Ari tried to calm things down with diplomacy, and then Esri said he's going to attack the mom if anything happens to the daughter. Did I miss anything, gang?
Well, I don't know about miss anything, but
I also
it was definitely
tried to
colored from a
leave
point of view.
with a threatening presence.
You also
Actually,
I also tried to leave with a threatening presence.
Mm-hmm. And then you went and picked up all of her discarded cutlery and left it on her doorstep for her.
Aggressive.
And amazingly,
It was a rough night for her.
all of
Shade's
that
a Sour
ignored
Patch
the
Kid,
first.
basically.
All of that ignored the first half of the episode, which
Right.
also involved a fight and a mummy and a bar and some flirting.
Before.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we picked up in the ship's cat. Finishing.
Of course,
up
I
our
remember exactly what happened last week.
Yes, right. Yes, last week.
Good job on the quick change, gang, of changing your clothes, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
We should do what they
All
do in
right.
Great British Bake Off and just pick an outfit and we wear that for every recording session, just for continuity.
Same thing every When we're doing that, I'm pulling stuff out of my SCA closet and going full costume here. I'm just going to go all out on the nerdiness. I have a doublet. Back off.
You said that like it wasn't the first time that statement has come out of your mouth.
No, probably not. It's a nice doublet. And I look good in it. Anyway, let's play D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Huzzah! Huzzah! All right. So, the door closes behind you. You leave a sack of maybe mostly things that belonged to the Bright Dooms on the porch. Maybe also a lot of trinkets picked up from the various market stalls that were destroyed by Donabella's episode. And all of you are, I think it's fair to say, pretty shaken up by what just went down. And you all sort of drift away in a kind of haze of needing to be alone with your thoughts for a moment. So I'm curious to talk about what's going through your heads. Is it are you sort of replaying the moment, trying to get your head around it? Are you going to just avoid the situation and go find something else to think about? How is your character processing what just went down? And do you have like a comfort place you go to have a think, to have a good think for a little bit? So let's see. R.A., do you know where what Esri, how Esri would handle this?
We're declaring that everyone is dispersing.
Yeah, everyone's kind of dispersing a little bit to make their own way home and have a moment to think.
Well, the first thing be like, we're not gonna. Sure, yeah, just go away. That's good. That's gonna help. What? And he sort of doesn't have anywhere else to go, and he just wanders back to the treehouse. And if no one else is going there, were you?
Pog is.
Okay. So I suppose if they're both going there, there's sort of a moment where he realizes Pog is with him, and he just sort of reaches up and like pats Pog on the shoulder and just walks back to the treehouse with him, not saying anything. Esri, as is normal with him in something like this, does not know at all if what happened was right or good. He was being urged to act internally, and so he did. And everything about what happened is bringing up all the trauma that happened to him when he manifested as well. So for him, it's just shock, confusion, and then it's beginning to boil into panic because he already thought they were coming for him. So someone already noticed them today, and now many more people notice them, and someone knows explicitly about them. So I'll leave it there, but that's what's going through his head.
Okay. Eric, tell us. I know where Ari's going because you told me, but where's Ari headed?
I mean, Ari begins walking in the general direction towards one of his favorite spots, the Spotted Boar, that he typically does gigs and stuff at, and it's one of his favorite spots. But as he's walking through the street, is just angry and feels a certain sense of betrayal, and is just has that kind of like there's a million things that I want to like get out and say, but I know that it wouldn't be helpful or productive. But his ire is primarily directed at Ezri, and he just the way that he feels like Ezri conducted himself is once again, this is Ari's internal monologue, so it's not going to be fair to anybody. but a hang up that Ari has always had with Ezri is Ezri's willingness to be in the program, and how Ezri kind of fit in a Dragon Mark sponsored program. And so this just kind of he does some mental gymnastics to associate, well, of course, somebody that would find themselves at home in a Dragon Marked house would go around threatening people that are just trying to protect their children. Ari's got a lot of baggage with that particular circumstance. So yeah, that's Ari's internal monologue as he walks through the streets, and he sees the spotted boar down the road, and the lights are on, and music's coming from it, and he kind of takes a beat to let the utter rage coursing through his veins dissipate enough to go in and order a drink and begin trying to gain some level of respite from the anger that he's feeling, and trying to get it out in more helpful and productive ways by being social and around a lot of people. So yeah.
What's Ari's comfort drink?
Ari's comfort drink is absolutely it's this Korvar specific wine that is not good. Like he's gotten people to try it before. It's very watery. It doesn't taste great, but it's what they can make on the road with stuff.
Man.
And so it's he had to teach Morg and Finda, the two proprietors of the Spotted Boar, how to make it. And he's like, yeah, just water and then this and this and this. And so yeah, that's his comfort drink.
Box wine.
Yeah.
Jug wine.
Farm. Love it.
Yeah, and it's with a wink and a grin by Korvar called a half and half, because they don't like being called half anything, but their drink is half of a lot of things. So
Nice. What about Shade?
Shade has immediate is anger, and soon after that is fear. She's upset that they came here to hide and have now been very clearly and without any sort of question identified, and that she didn't have a say in that is incredibly upsetting to her. She's also scared for herself and the group. What does this mean for them? Are we going to stay here? Are they going to stay with me? And then with that is also, she doesn't do conflict resolution. That's not something that she has practice or experience in. When you survive in the woods by yourself, you don't have to talk things out with anybody, and in a training program, it doesn't matter what your opinions are, you work together. And so now, disagreeing with the way things were handled, but also not wanting to upset anybody, she's wandering around the city trying to figure out how do I not make anybody mad at me so they don't want to leave. But I don't like that. I don't like how that was handled. I don't like that situation. And what she finds as she's walking around the city is that she's coming back towards Donnabella's house. She's terrified for that child. What happens if she is kicked out immediately? If the mom comes to realize that what we said was true, and they immediately escort her from the house. And so, as stealthily, I was looking at my stealth earlier, but as stealthily as she could, she would try to circle back towards the house to check that she wasn't being kicked out or removed from the home.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
18.
So you find, I mean, Stormreach is for such a large town, it's very ramshackle, and so it's very easy in most parts of the city to find a thing to hide behind or to climb up on and get a view or that sort of thing. So it's very easy for Shade to find a perch from which to observe unseen, and you watch for a while, and after a little while, you see the door open, and Mrs. Bright Doom reaches out, takes the bundle off the porch, and pulls it back into the house and closes the door. And other than that, no movement at all.
Okay.
How long
After-
would Shade stay? Do you think?
Sorry, debating between, obviously she doesn't want to get caught, but she doesn't want to leave this child homeless. She would probably, if she found a perch, and that was a great description, she absolutely would climb up on something to be able to observe. She would probably wait a couple of hours.
Okay.
And then head back to the treehouse. And then if given the opportunity, she would like to come back in the morning to double check. But Shade recognizes that staying out here all night would be extremely dangerous. Or she would think it would be extremely dangerous.
Okay. And Pog. Pog is also headed back to the treehouse. What's going through Pog's mind?
So as everyone first starts to move, Pog, with kind of just a blankness of mind, not knowing where to begin really processing or thinking about things, instinctively turns to follow behind Ari until it becomes obvious that Ari is walking away from the group, and turns, deciding he's going to go home, and follows fairly close to Esri until Esri reaches up and pats him on the shoulder, and that's when they make the rest of the walk next to each other. The longer the walk continues, the more Pog starts to question his decision. The instinct will always be to defend someone who's young, someone who's defenseless, and after his own manifestation, to look after someone who seems to be in that kind of danger that he knows. And now he sees the situation that the group was put in because of his impulsiveness to do what he instinctively felt like was helpful. And this comes with the heavy sense of remembering what had happened on the night of the manifestation, which leads to the resolution that he's not going to make another decision in this situation. This is time for him to listen to the people who all spoke better in that moment than he did. Ari, with his very appeasing sense of political placement in the conversation, or Esri with his very well-spoken statement of beliefs, and Pog deciding I'm going to follow in this because I don't know what we do from here. And so he sullenly makes the remainder of the walk back to the treehouse before quietly shutting the door to his chambers behind him.
All right, so What? I'm going to let everyone get a chance to do this, so everybody okay. What does Pog's room look like when he shuts himself in?
It is tidy and sparse. Haven't made the move yet to a mattress, but there's a clear sleeping area. Most of what fills the room is things that were not necessarily stolen, but liberated from the sword and sheath. Things don't stick around in the lost and found at the sword and sheath very long.
You got a bunch of in and out
there's
trays.
things that kind of look cool sitting on, the barrel top that he uses with his wash basin on top of it. We've got rings that may or may not fit, but they're in really good condition. They're very well cleaned. Some nice changes of clothes that are maybe just a little bit small, but were left behind in the upstairs. And it's got a very small window on the side of it facing out, but his view is of the wild side, facing away from town. And so he's got very few things, but he does love to clean his things, to care for his possessions, all while looking out, not even with any kind of sense other than the peace of seeing so much outside, so much open world. So inside, it's as bare as can be, but with treasures.
What is something on Pog's table or wherever he keeps his trinkets and stuff? Whatever serves him for a dresser, I guess.
Barrels.
What on one of these barrels? What is a thing that Pog still has from his childhood in the Shadow Marches? What is the thing Pog has managed to keep from way back?
It's not on the barrels, and it's not anywhere that can be seen. But Pog has managed to keep with him about a 1x1 square singed on all corners of his quilt that he slept with as a child, and the singe is due to it having been with him the night of the manifestation. And it's not a blankie. It's not a child security thing so much as it's a guilty reminder of his past and of what's behind that can't be. And as it's there, he shuts the door quietly behind him, heads over to the corner and under the far edge of his sleeping area, picks it up, and is holding that the remainder of his time, thinking about the risk that he put the rest of his crew at.
Cool. Love that. Yeah. Let's see. Ari and Shade. Each of you roll me a d20.
Oh, yeah.
5.
Nah.
9.
Shade, sitting in your perch, maybe an hour goes by after you see Ms. Brightdoom take in the package. And you see some people passing through the plaza. And then you look again. And it's... You swear it can't be, but you swear one of the people who just walked by is Tommel, who was from the program and was lost while out on a mission on the day of mourning.
And he he was one of us in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Is he with people or is he by himself?
He's walking with a couple of other people.
Oh, okay.
Does she do anything?
She doesn't full follow, but she does, if possible, if we're saying like rooftop situation, she would follow enough to see the direction that he's going towards what part of town. But she would not hop down and follow behind them. She's still too concerned about Donabella and how she is doing, so she wouldn't want to stray far from that perch.
Okay. Watching them go for a while, give me a perception check.
All right. $17.
They head north out of the plaza over towards the Cross neighborhood. All right. Esri, since you also have returned to the treehouse, what's in Esri's room?
Esri's room is a little long and narrow. It has in one of the ends of it. It's got one of the significant branches of the tree kind of growing through that part of it. And Esri has, since they've been there, encouraged growth from that tree such that there's sort of a canopy in the corner of living branches with leaves. There's no sunlight in there, so he sort of has to maintain that. And then he has encouraged growth of moss down in that side, and his bed is just sort of this mass of moss that's living on one end. That sort of slows. The growth ends at a certain point, and on the other end of the room, he has a cabinet where it's sort of a wardrobe where he keeps the clothes that he's acquired since being here, and those he keeps as nice as he can. But as with all of his accoutrement, he has, even on the clothes, there are certain things growing on them so that he has those colonies available to him at all times. So he tries to make it work with the color or pattern of whatever the cloth is to try to not make it obvious, but there is always that. He doesn't have a window exactly, just the imperfect joinery where the branch meets the wall. So he can see looking up. He has sort of a view of the sky at points, and it kind of leaks. But he's also just kind of okay with that.
That's good for the moss.
It's good. Yeah, it's good for all of it.
So Ari, you are enjoying a half and half, maybe not your first.
Yeah.
And listening to someone play who's getting a lot of tips, getting a lot of tips and appreciation from the crowd in general. And give me a perception check for Ari.
I rolled an 11, which means it's a 10.
Outstanding. So you're trying to relax. You're starting to talk people up, chat people up, and just let it kind of wash off. I kind of get the impression that Ari has decided to avoid the situation
Yes.
for a minute and do something peaceful to his mind, to his extroverted mind.
Yes.
Something peaceful and reassuring.
Something he knows he's good at. Like he
Yeah.
enjoys talking to people and being with people, and
Sure.
So
And it's going great. You're having a wonderful conversation with someone who's like Shade is an expedition guide, talking about the crazy things that he's seen out there in the wild, and all of because everyone has 8 or 9 stories about something ridiculous that went on in Zendrick,
Of course.
out in the jungle. When you feel more than note someone slide up to the bar. You're sort of at the bar facing over to this
Yeah.
person, and someone shoulders into the bar behind you, and you shift and you sort of look over, and there is a big half orc who is very obviously based on their clothing, very obviously from House Thrash, from the refinery. That's not very far from where you are. It's just across into cross. Across into cross is not a wonderful phrase to have to say. Anyway, and just past him, he sits down, and then someone slides in next to him and says, "Well, what passes for drink in this town in the middle of nowhere out here?" And a human sort of leans forward on the bar, and it's changed a little. Grizzled, sort of graying, very thin beard, kind of just like that perpetual stubble kind of beard. He's bald now, and there's a pretty substantial burn scar running along one side of his shaved scalp.
okay.
But it's definitely Falco de Dennis.
Okay.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Geek Pantheon rules, Geek Pantheon
Yeah.
rules, Geek Pantheon rules.
And the half orc goes, I have the drink. I have the drink for you. Get him a drow brandy. Get him one of the ones the little Corridal bring in. And the bartender sort of laughs and goes for a bottle, and they begin.
Okay. Well, Ari is now.
So far as you can tell, you have not been noticed.
Yes. Great.
Until now.
Should we call Falco is the training room attendant, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is your combat trainer.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on just a second. I'm looking at one of my new abilities. Okay, so the flavor of it would allow me to do a thing, but the actual thing does not. So, all right, then Ari is in flight mode. Like, Ari's like, I need to get out of here, but I need to do it in a way that doesn't draw any attention whatsoever. So, I mean, this is just this. Like, I'm playing with the chess pieces that are in front of me. I would like to make a roll to see if this wonderful conversation that I'm having with this person that goes on expeditions out in the jungle, if he would be amenable of having this conversation back at his place, because it's time to get out of here.
It's time to
So,
go.
yeah. So, what do you say
Just
we get out of here?
Just give me a charisma roll.
Okay.
Just a straight flat charisma roll.
21.
Excellent. So
Ari does
you are
one
able
thing
to- you are able to get yourself to the other side of your drinking companion, and sort of move around using them as a human shield,
Yeah.
and out the door.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so Shade, you see Tommel and his companions disappear, and you stay in the plaza for a little while longer, and then go back to the treehouse.
Yeah.
Does Ari return to the treehouse that night?
No.
No. Okay. So,
Unless
all
it's
of
going to
you,
cause more of a headache for you, then I can say yes, but probably not.
all of the rest of you are. I mean, mostly, I imagine the headache is for your friends. So you all. So Shade, you return to the treehouse. Pog is.
Ari would return in the early-ish morning. Like, he's not going to be out and about until the afternoon kind of thing.
And I assume that while they might not consider this the ideal time, I assume that Ari does not spend every night at the treehouse. So that out playing gigs, out on a date, out drinking, out doing something. That Ari is often out absurdly late. So it's probably not out of character, even if it's not the ideal time from the perspective of some of your companions. So Shade, you return. Hog, I assume, is still closed in his room. Is Esri back in his room, or is Esri sort of waiting for people to return?
Yeah, Esri is sort of sitting. I imagine his room is sort of a step up kind of thing.
Yeah, I
so
assume none of there's no reason at all that this building would be
Right.
all on a level.
So he's sort of sitting on the stoop of his room, just sort of, waiting. Actually, if it's okay, waiting for people to come home at a point, because I can't imagine there's any such there's any way to not hear everything that happens up here.
No,
And
I
just go
would bet not. Yeah.
You awake, Pog?
Yeah. I'm awake.
Hey, I'm sorry. I ignored you earlier.
Oh,
There was. I only just kind of remembered that you asked me a question, and I didn't mean to ignore you. I didn't really hear it at the time.
that's okay. I knew you were thinking.
Hey, when was the last time you had a home, like a real home?
Long time. Long
Yeah.
time. Not since. And he puts his hand up and runs it across his mark. Not since I changed. You?
Oh. I don't know. I mean, in hindsight, I don't know if I did. Really. I mean, I thought I did when I was a kid. But maybe not. You know, I was kind of starting to think of this place as home. You know, been here a while.
It feels like it. I think. It did.
Yeah. I'm sorry if this means we can't stay.
I did it. I lost home again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't. Pog, you think this? No, this was. You did fine.
Pog turns and has his back to you. Still close, but just can't really look at you.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think you did. You did okay, big guy. This was just hard.
I shouldn't have showed. She was so scared. And
Yeah, but
I've been that scared.
yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Well, why shouldn't you have shown? Like, we all hide it all the time. That's all we've been doing for a year and a half. That's why we're here. We're hiding, right? But there's no black wheel here, right? I mean, listen, even if we have to leave, for what it's worth, I think I'd like to stick together.
Yes. And he turns back around
Yeah.
to you. Yes.
I don't. Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kept you up. I'm gonna stay up. I think maybe I'm gonna pack. You know, I've got clothes.
Yeah.
Everything else is just sort of, you know, like trees and sticks and stuff. I don't. It's fine.
I can get ready fast. And he turns to your door. Is Ari back?
No one's. No, neither one is back yet.
I think this is probably where Shade walks in.
Oh,
Speaking of which, Shade, declare something. Declare a truth about the house. How does one enter the treehouse? Is there a
Ooh.
door in the base of the trunk and a spiraling staircase? Is there a rope ladder? Is there a weird pulley elevator? Is it magic?
Is there a trampoline?
you have to angle it right to like land
Got to
through
get
the
in.
hole.
It's a series of trampolines. It's a jumping puzzle to get into the treehouse.
That would be spectacular. I had not pictured much anything fancier than like a rope ladder, except a door with a spiral staircase is spectacular. So yes, that.
A trap
So
door
you
or
hear-
like a front door?
Yeah, is it a door in the trunk or is it like a trap door into the through the bottom?
We would not live in a house that just has a wide open welcome door on it. So it is definitely a secret door. Or what do you mean by trap door?
Like
I
in the
guess?
floor
Like,
or in a wall?
Is it in like a hatch in the floor, or is there a door one walks through traditionally?
I see. No, there's a door.
Okay,
This
so
This-
you hear Shade ascending the stairs and then comes in through the door.
Wog goes to the stairs as we hear the sounds of steps to see who's coming. Shade's home.
Hey Shade. Hey Shade. Where you been?
She's looking at them, and Esri was saying that his room is just right off of that main space. Have you started packing?
No, I was just standing up.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify. Hey, guys.
Is Ari with you?
No, I didn't see him since we left. I circled back around to watch Donabella to make sure that she was okay. I don't I don't want her family to kick her out and her not to have a home and anywhere to go. And so I watched to make sure that the mom kept her promise. And she was still in there when I left, but I think we should check again, but quietly. But also, when I was there, I saw Tomo. It had to have been him. He was walking on the street with some other people, and then they were headed towards the cross. And I don't know what that means. And
I mean, Shade, Tomo's dead.
I mean, we were definitely told that, but who knows what we were told by those people?
I mean, they didn't have any reason to lie about that, did they? I mean, that was... I mean, did you talk to him?
No. Oh. What if they were looking for us?
Tomo? Tomo is... Why would Tomo... No, that doesn't make any sense.
We didn't graduate that program. Like, what if they brainwash you to find other aberrants? What if he, hunts us now?
Pog walks to the staircase and looks down it, paranoid that something's coming up.
And I think as Pog looks down, per the message Eric sent me just now, the door probably flies open. I'm imagining a running Ari.
Well, it's running. You see a 7'1" Goliath come popping up through the door. And then based on your reaction, you're like, "Oh, sorry," and he kind of shakes, and it resumes Ari's form.
Wog's reaction was, "Ah!"
Sorry. I was trying to be inconspicuous.
They're here.
As we went into a fighting...
Yes!
7'1" Goliath? No one will see me now. Well blended.
How quickly do you change back to Ari in this situation?
Oh, it's an at-will power, so I can just turn it off and on.
This is disguise self, right? You got mask of many faces as well.
Yes, and basically the way I flavor it is basically Ari can project out an appearance to all minds within a certain distance.
He's tricking your mind into seeing something instead of.
But it's not a targeted thing. It's just kind of a.
And when you turn back, Wog says, "I told you, don't make me think things."
I'm sorry, buddy. So here's the thing. Nobody freak out. Okay.
Too late.
I know. My bad on the Goliath thing. I was out drinking and not thinking, and Falco is in town. You all remember that jackwagon that was real butthead. I think we
just
need to
saw
deal with
Tomo.
that situation. You saw what? Tomo's dead.
Pog sits down.
I know. Very surprised
Brain
seeing
broken.
him walk on the street.
Did he...
I was not drinking when I saw him.
Did Falco see you?
No, Falco didn't see me. I'm a master at stealth. You know me. No, he didn't see me, or else I wouldn't come back to the treehouse. Obviously. Because unlike some people in this establishment right now, I think things through before I take rash actions and potentially get people hurt. So...
Really?
He's just looking
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who fired a gun into the city today? Twice?
It's Stormreach.
You shot a gun in a market
Arcane
at
Blaster.
Forks.
It was
Pog
a
buries
tense
his head further under his arms.
All right, listen. I'm not against firing my gun one more time today if we want to go back and try to take care of the Falco situation. But
Oh, you meant at him. Okay.
yes, I'm not going to. No, come on, Shade.
Okay, wait.
But Tommel, what did he look like?
You don't remember what Tama looked like?
And in the back of Ari's mind, he's saying, if she says like Tommel, I'm going to.
Pog says, "Did he not look like Tommel?"
How did you recognize him if he didn't look like Tommel?
Hands out from behind his head now.
What I mean, Falco is now bald and has a big, like, burn scar on his face. So, thankfully, Falco seems to have been hurt at some point since we last saw him, which makes me a little bit happy.
How did Tama look?
What did Tom look like? What
I asked
species
you
is Tommel?
first. I asked you
Oh, wait, right? Tommel is an elf with blonde hair.
Okay.
Is that descriptive?
That does describe.
I'm super good at improv.
Did he look okay? Is he like? Is there anything in particular that's menacing that I should note about him?
Do I get to decide that, or do you have information for
He did not look changed in any way that
Okay.
was obvious from the distance. Obviously, you saw him at a little bit of a distance, but so far as you could tell, he looked like himself.
He did not have a scar across his face. He
Let me
looked like when he
ask-
left.
Let me ask you this, Philip. Were the Thrashk, half-orc, and Falco wearing any kind of uniform or anything that would have designated them as part of an organization, or were they just in...
The Thrashk half-orc was in-house livery.
Okay.
Falco was in. Falco did not appear to be in uniform at the moment. He was in just leathers and trousers, that sort of thing.
Okay.
His walking around armor.
Yeah. His going out on the town armor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what a day, first off, am I right? And Ari still has, he puts the bust down that he's been trucking around with him this whole time. Finally. I was thinking through the whole day. I was like, wait, I've had this stupid statue with me the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ari dramatically sets it down. Is like, so Falco's in town. Tommel is apparently alive, which at least he was friendly when we knew him. So how do we deal with this situation? Because I have some thoughts personally, but I would love to hear from you all what you're thinking in this moment.
We could run away to the jungle.
I cannot. I will get eaten by a T-Rex. So
I know my way around in there. It's very hard to find people in there. But I think that we should be a we and stay with each other.
oh yeah, I'm not proposing splitting up.
Oh, okay.
I think we established in the last episode that it was either Pog or Shade that Ari tried doing the expedition thing one time, and I think it was Shade that we established that. And so I think, like, you remember that one time I went out in the jungle with you, and remember how I never went back because I was at best a liability, and at worst a corpse. So the
Are
jungle
there
option is
are there like other cities? I mean, this is like the last city, right?
I mean, in terms of Zindrik, there is a very small little town further along the coast, further west, along the peninsula that Stormreach is built on, and it's called Last Chance. And it's essentially there as a supply depot for dragon-marked house expeditions going out into the jungle.
Super not ominously
To
named.
be clear, that was Esri asking that as well.
Yeah. I was telling you what you know as far as
Yeah.
Zindrik goes.
I mean,
we can't go
there
back.
was always
Go ahead.
there was always that place. It was like a big cellar. I guess we could always like go underground.
Like literally underground is what you're saying.
You remember we looked at that place and it was like real dark.
You can't live underground.
No.
Pog's scared of the fish
Please,
people. He
please
thinks he's
no.
going to come get him
Please
in the
no.
night.
Please no.
They are-
Please no.
They're
Please
awful.
no.
It's okay. And shade pats Pog. It's okay.
Please no.
They can't get you up here, buddy. Remember, the fish people can't climb. And he just shakes his head at Shade and Esri like that.
Their horrible
But we
claws
have
would
stairs.
definitely prevent
So
them from climbing
the
into
lie
the
that Ari has told Pog
treehouse.
is that fish people can't climb stairs is precisely what it's like mythological
yeah.
lore.
From Pog's perspective, if anybody would know about fish people, it would definitely be Ari. Like, why wouldn't
He's
you know
right. They're
about fish
huge. They're huge, terrifying claw feet. Can't climb upstairs. That's absolutely
Claw-
true.
Ari. Claws grab trees.
Not their claws, but they're like fish bones. You've eaten fish bones and how they crack between your teeth. They can't hold on to anything.
I hate them.
I know. Listen, Stormreach is our best bet. We can't go back to Corvair. Dragon marked houses are everywhere.
I like
Last
our
chance.
home.
Me too. Last Chance is literally a dragon marked outpost. And we don't have enough money to get fare to anywhere further away. So, and frankly, I don't want to go live with a bunch of mummified elves. They're nice enough, but they do smell weird. So,
I like that guy.
I liked him too. I want to give him his
He was
statue back, but
He was cool.
listen, it was a rough situation with the girl. And nothing we can do about it now. Except hope that that mother doesn't actively hate us. I feel like I left it in a position where she wouldn't, and then somebody else opened their mouth. So we'll see how things play out from there.
I just had some parting words for the mom because I didn't want her to kick out her daughter. Because that happens.
I know. And
Some of us didn't get hugs and cakes when our marks
so
showed
because
up.
you were denied those things, you would want to deny them from other people by making overt threats to parental figures instead of trying to cultivate a trusting relationship, is what you're
Do
saying?
people get hugs and cakes?
I did. Well, not cakes, but I got hugs.
Oh, you got cakes. Of course, there were cakes.
It's fry bread. It's different. We don't have ovens.
You
I didn't get cakes regardless. They said they were fattening and not on the path of light.
Go eat a mushroom.
or a cake. You can get a cake now. They're worth
Entry.
eating.
Let's go have cake.
Listen, the only way we're going to survive in this city is twofold. Making people not actively afraid of us and hate us by making threats and saying we're going to come get them if they don't fall in line with the way we want them to act. And two, doing whatever we can to keep dragon-marked houses from thinking that this is a place that they belong. That's why we came here, because the dragon-marked houses weren't here. That's starting to change, I'll grant you. Falco's here, that's not good. But if we're going around threatening everybody that we encounter, we're going to put bigger targets on our backs. That's how I see it.
I have not threatened everybody. I have very specifically threatened the one person.
Who was?
A mom that may not have been kind to her child.
A mom who was scared and confused and unsure of the new life that she had just had laid before her feet.
And has taught her daughter that we're monsters.
I mean,
She didn't get those ideas herself.
no. And guess what? That mom's idea of aberrance was just confirmed tonight. Bunch of people come barging into her home.
her daughter is one.
Yes.
Because I cared
She's
about
gonna kick
her
her out on the
daughter's
street. You want us to do
safety.
nothing about it?
Why do we know she's going to kick her out on the street? It's a small town.
Well, it's a huge. I mean, the buildings are enormous.
All I'm trying to say, and the reason I got so heated, and I had to go clear my head, is in my mind, and I might be alone amongst the four of us, I think we need to give people a chance to fail us, rather than assuming that they're going to kick their kids out, that they're going to attack us in the street. Now, if they got a dragon marked on them, a true mark, that's a whole different story. Like, point me at them. But the people of this city, yeah, there's stories about people like us. Most of them are unfair, unfounded, from a time long gone by. But this is the hand we're dealt, and I just don't see how assuming the worst in people is going to get us anywhere.
It keeps you alive.
It does.
If you,
for a time.
I met one person who knew about my mark and then didn't immediately discard me, and his name was Soren, and 2 years later he tried to kill me. So
That is unfounded. We don't know what he was trying to do.
I mean, leading us down a hallway, and people like us told us to then run. So I mean, he was trying to kill us. That's.
I mean, Esri, if you want to go back so bad, I know where Falco is.
Pog has been sitting with his back against the wall the whole time, and he stands up and says, "Stop! Stop! I made this. I'm sorry I showed. I shouldn't have showed. I'm sorry I made you mad, Ari, and you got big and were angry at us." And turns to Esri and says, "And I'm sorry I made you scared, so you got mean. And Shade, I'm sorry you were scared too, but I'd only cared about her. And it doesn't matter what other people think. She might have hurt herself, and she could have hurt somebody else, and I'm tired of us hurting ourselves and being blamed for other people getting hurt, and I had to help her. I'm sorry." And Pog walks out of the room.
Out of the room, not out of the house.
No, going to his room. No storm out here, just removing.
Ari, I'm not gonna kill any mothers didn't want to get involved in the first place. But once we're involved, once that happens, I can't... I'm not just walking out of there without some sort of insurance. I get it. I don't know what I'm doing. But once you step in, you don't control the narrative. And you don't speak for me. Okay?
Never claimed you as
Shade follows Pog.
What am I going to do? Send the termites?
I don't want to speak for you, Esri. I know that since Jump Street, you and I have seen different on a lot of things. So, I couldn't even speak for you if I wanted to. All I know is that, yeah, the rest of you had a lot worse laugh than me after you manifested your mark. It was awful. In my life, it's pretty great. Until some dragon mark people killed my parents. Not because I had a mark. It wasn't targeted because of that. But I know what it takes to build a community, to get people on your side, willing to fight for you, to look after you, to care about you. And all without using my mark. And like I said, I'm never going to speak for you because I don't even want to know what's going on in your head half the time. But I don't know, man. Like, you got your assurances by telling that mom that you were going to come check up on her, and if things didn't go the way you wanted them to, then you were going to deal with it. But at the end of the day, do you think that's going to make a difference whether or not her daughter has a decent life? Because all you did is just scare the mom into keeping her daughter in her house, even if it's going to be a horrible situation for her.
What's the good situation? And, you know, that's actually a really good... What is the good situation for this? What...
A parent who sees her daughter still instead of a monster?
No, I mean, like, what actually is there to do to help?
To show people we're not monsters. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to shave my head and walk around with my mark out and proud for everybody to see. That'd just be stupid. But when people know, maybe try to show them that we're not as bad as they think we are. Maybe go out of our way to get involved when an 11-year-old girl is in danger of harming herself and others. And maybe doing what we can to not get what we want through threats. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, I was thinking more like opening a school for special youngsters.
We don't have the money. That's the overhead is a nightmare on something like that. Also, I don't have any discernible skills to teach anybody.
Real quick, our camera pans over into Pog's room because I want to know Shade followed Pog in, and I want to know what's going on.
Shade would not have followed him in. She would have stood at the door and then knocked. Because she's not trying to surprise him or move into his space without his permission. So Shade goes over to the door and knocks.
Pog is standing, looking at the window and clinching the one by one the square of fabric. He doesn't turn to see who it is, but we can still hear the voices of the other two, and so he just says, I am sorry.
I don't want. Ari said he wouldn't leave, but you and Esri didn't say anything, and then you walked away after yelling. I want to ask if you're okay, but I know that's a stupid question. You get to show your mark to people that you want to show your mark to. That's your choice.
I wasn't thinking about me. I was thinking about her. And he turns to look at you from the window. But I wasn't thinking about you guys. And I should. Because I can't find another group. I don't want to lose another group. And I shouldn't show if you don't want to show. If Ari doesn't want to show, if Esri doesn't want to show, I should have thought for the group. I don't want to go.
I don't either. This is home. I like it here with y'all. I like that we care about each other, but sometimes they fight a lot.
I know.
And I guess we need to talk about like what to do in a situation like that. I didn't want to be there, but then when then Mom came home and I was so worried about the little girl. I remember what it felt like being just ditched by the people that you knew. And Ari pointed out that I may have made it worse. And what if I made it worse?
We're not going to leave her. We can go get Donabella if we have to. We won't leave her to be in trouble. She needs a group. And if her mom won't be there, Esri said we'll make sure she's okay. And Ari's mad, but Ari won't let one of us not be okay.
Okay.
We'll let them fight. But
Can I stay in here until they're done yelling at each other?
yeah. Of course. And he moves some things off the top of one of the barrels to clear you a space to sit if you want to look out the window.
I do want to look out the window very much. Thank you.
How did we turn
She
into an
is-
ABC family show? Good lord.
We will
Pretty naturally, apparently.
fade out on that adorable tableau of Shade and Pog sitting on barrels looking at
Friends,
the jungle.
the ones you can depend on.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode. I really enjoy this kind of thing because I didn't have to do anything. Just let them play. We hope you all enjoyed this. New episodes of Khyber Shards drop every Monday, and we do little extra episodes where we answer some questions about characters and about the last episode on Fridays. If you would like to be a part of the conversation about Khyber Shards, you can comment below and we'll get back to you. But you can also join our Discord, which the link is down below as well. You can also find us on all the social medias, which are also down below. Thank you, Eric. And then you can also find Colin, who his links have also been down below in the episodes, because Colin also streams on Twitch and has all the various socials. You can find all those links below. And in the meantime, we're going to wrap up there because I've said the word below far too many times in the last 30 seconds. I am Philip.
I'm Eric.
I'm Colin.
I'm all right.
And I'm Casey.
And this has been Khyber Shards. We'll see you next time.
Bye.